What's going on, everybody? Sigourney Jackson here with another episode of Hoop Politics. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell to stay up to date on everything that is Hoop Politics. So throughout my career, I have seen and I have been a part of this situation where I have had coaches constantly try to tell me who I need to play like, who I need to be like, who I need to do things like. And don't get me wrong, sometimes that's necessary because it's always great to look at people who are where you want to be at and try to recreate somewhat what they do, and so you can try to put yourself in a better situation. But the thing that a lot of people don't do is they don't embrace your individuality. They don't embrace your style of play or how you do things. And one of the things that I see more than anything is when it comes to a jump shot. Throughout the years, coaches have always tried to make basketball players shoot like other basketball players. They want you to shoot like Steph Curry. They want you to shoot like Klay Thompson. They wanted you to shoot like Ray Allen, JJ Redick, Dell Curry, and a whole bunch of other ones. And don't get me wrong, those are great shooters, and if you can recreate their form and it goes in, then by all means go for it. But that is not the norm, and that is not a regular thing. So I'm going to show you is 5 key principles that all great basketball players have when it comes to shooting the basketball. Everybody has their own form, their own way of doing things. These things all basketball players follow. They follow these rules to a T, and it is the key factors as to why they are the great shooters they are today. So without further ado, let's go and get right into it. The first key to being a great shooter is balance. Yes, I know that sounds so simple and basic, but it is the absolute truth. You must have balance when it comes to being a top level shooter. Even when you think players are off balance making shots, they're really not. They still have the footwork, they still have the center of gravity to be able to make those shots. Normally when you're trying to get balance, you want to make sure that your legs are slightly bent. Not too much, not over exaggerated, it doesn't take much, but you want to have a low center of gravity. You want to have a good distance between your feet. Some people like to do shoulder width, some people like to go a little bit beyond shoulder width, some people like to go a little bit in shoulder width. But whatever works for you. Balance is necessary. You have to have a good center of gravity. Me personally, I like to have my shooting hand or my dominant hand, whatever foot that is, so in my case it would be the right foot. I like to have it slightly out in front of the left foot because that allows for me to naturally point towards the rim when I'm shooting, and so all I have to do is go up and over. A lot of coaches will try to teach you that you need to be squared up to the goal, but that is not good for you to do because what it's causing you to do is to naturally twist to get back on line and center with the goal, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. How you defeat that? Whatever your dominant hand is, you have that foot slightly in front so you can have a natural angle shooting the ball right to the rim. Balance is necessary. Make sure you guys are balanced when you're shooting the basketball. The next tip is footwork. Yes, once again, sounds so basic, but it's so true. Every single basketball player that you watch who shoots the ball at a high level has an incredible amount of footwork. Some people like to step into their jump shot like myself where it's a 1-2, catch and then a shoot. Some people like to jump into their shot. Somebody who you see do this a lot of times is people like JJ Redick. Whatever works for you, but you want to get into a position where you have good footwork, because what good footwork leads to is rhythm, and rhythm is so important when it comes to shooting the basketball. When you don't have the ball, you want to be low. You want to already have your feet set, the center of gravity on balance, and you want to go ahead and get your feet, whether it's shuffling your feet, jumping into it, whatever it is that you personally like to do. Get your rhythm together. Something that Mike Miller has said before: chaos down low, peace up top. Every single basketball player might have a different type of way of getting the ball up, but everybody has the havoc and the chaos going down low to get themselves ready to shoot the basketball as soon as they catch it. The quicker you can get into your rhythm and get your footwork right and stay low, the quicker you can get a shot off and the more efficiently you can get a shot off. Because up top is going to be different, but the bottom is always going to be the same, and that's what matters. The third tip when it comes to shooting the basketball is a high release. Every single basketball player that you see shooting the basketball at a high level has a high release. Steph Curry has a high release. Klay Thompson has a high release. Kevin Durant has a high release. Ray Allen had a high release. Reggie Miller had a high release. All different forms of a jump shot, all different strokes, all different release points, but they were always high. And that's what matters, because when you can have a high release point, it allows for the ball to naturally go high in the air. And when you have the ball going high in the air, that allows for more spin to come on the basketball. So when the ball hits the rim, even if you don't directly go right into the net with it, it allows for the ball to bounce on the rim. The backspin will allow it to die on the rim, and you have a lot of lucky bounces or shooter's touches. That's where it comes from. It's not really a lucky bounce. It's no, when I shoot the ball high and I have a good touch and good arc and good spin, it gives me a bigger basket to shoot into. When you have players who like to shoot the ball directly at the rim, they have a lower chance of making the shot because they have to be damn near perfect when they're shooting the ball, and it has to go directly into the rim, because when you're shooting forward, you're shooting hard. So when you hit the front rim, it's gonna bounce back. When you hit the back rim, it's gonna bounce back. You're not giving yourself the opportunity to have a shooter's touch when you have the ball and you're shooting it directly at the rim. The only player who I've actually seen shoot the ball at a high level and shoot the ball not necessarily from a high release point is Trae Young. But the downside to that is you see Trae Young shooting a lot more threes, and you see them shooting the ball from further back. That doesn't mean that he can't hit mid-ranges, because obviously we've seen that before. But his best bet of hitting shots at a high level is shooting the ball from further back, because not only do you have to worry about the trajectory of your shot, when you shoot the ball from a lower point, you have to worry about people blocking your shot. And when you get to a certain level of basketball, there are going to be taller, longer defenders who are going to guard you on a regular basis. So if you can shoot the ball high, you can shoot the ball over people. But when you shoot the ball straight forward, they can play off of you and still recover, because they know that all they got to do is get a hand up and slightly tip it. Shoot the ball high. It helps you as far as your spin and having a higher opportunity of hitting the shot, and it also helps you with shooting the basketball over players on a regular basis. The fourth tip when it comes to shooting the basketball at a high level is wrist. Flicking your wrist is the most important thing, especially when it comes to shooting the ball from distance. You have a lot of basketball players who think that in order to shoot the ball from further back, you have to have strong legs, you got to jump more, you got to shoot it harder. And that's not true, and it's never been true. You shoot the ball from further distance by shooting the ball with your wrists more. Yes, having a nice center of gravity helps. Yes, having some strong legs can help, but I don't necessarily always use legs on my jump shot, and neither do some of the greatest shooters. The only player who actually shot the ball with their legs a lot that was a high-level shooter was Ray Allen. But the wrist is the key factor to having distance on your shot. When you build the muscles in your arms, in your hands, your forearms, and in your wrists, and you get used to snapping your wrists constantly, it allows for you to be further back and start to flick the ball. Basketball players at a high level, people who are in college, they will tell you, I wish that they watch this video and they'll comment below, when you are shooting the ball at a certain stage in your career, it's going to get almost to the point where you're more so just doing a touch. You're almost just throwing the ball slightly at the rim and it's getting there. You're not really using as much arms and legs and body and all that on a consistent basis, at least, because you know that your wrist will do, and that saves your energy for later in the game so that you can use your legs. That's why you have a lot of basketball players who use a lot of legs on their jump shots, and they might hit a lot of shots early, but when it gets late in the game, they can't hit shots. And what do the announcers say? He doesn't have his legs under him. His legs, he's tired, he's short. That's because they have used legs throughout the entire game. I'm not saying don't use legs, but your wrist is more important than your legs. The more you shoot with the wrist, the more you are able to save energy, and the more efficient you're going to be with your jump shot at all different levels of the game and all different levels on the court. Make sure you're using wrist is super important. And the fifth and final key to being a great jump shot is one fluid motion. So many basketball players have beautiful jump shots, beautiful strokes, but the thing that always sets them back more than anything is their jump shot is too choppy. You have players who will jump and then they want to go up with their arms once they've reached the apex of their shot and then try to shoot the ball. You are already on your way down. Your shot is going to naturally be flat. You have to get into the rhythm of shooting all with one fluid motion. As you're getting to the top of your jump, your hands should already be slowly releasing the ball at a high point. That allows for the momentum in your body to get behind the ball with the high release. It allows for the ball to go higher over the defender, and it allows it the opportunity to hit the rim and die on the rim and fall in. One fluid motion is so important when it comes to shooting the basketball. You have no idea. I have walked in gyms regularly and shot 20 air balls in games because I was choppy with my shot. I was jumping and then I was releasing the ball, and I have to tell myself, hey, your shot is too broken right now. You need to get back on one fluid motion. And the way you do that is by working on the inside. Go into the mid-range, form shooting, get your shot back right, get back used to putting your legs into your shot a little bit, having a good release, and making it one fluid motion and work your way back. This is something that NBA basketball players do all the time. It helps them a lot. Trust me when I tell you this is a real thing. And the only basketball player who I personally can think of who regularly shot the ball in different motions and it always wasn't one fluid motion is this guy right here. That's the only guy. But even then, there was a reason for it. So many times people are shooting the ball with 2-3 motions in their shot because they just do it and it's just habit. This guy was doing it because he had defenders on him, because he had multiple defenders on him. He was in the mid-range, so he had to shoot the ball on the way down when other players were going down, still with a high release, so he can shoot it slightly over their outreached hands and still hit the shot. But when you looked at Kobe on a regular basis just shooting the ball when he had the opportunity, he was always still shooting with one fluid motion. He only did more difficult shots when there were more difficult defenses. So stop watching a lot of NBA players or college players and seeing the highlight reel. Watch the actual game. See how they're hitting shots. See why they're hitting shots. See why is that their jump shot is different depending on what the defense is. They're not just doing it just to do it. They're doing it because they have to do it. But in order for you to get to that point of the game, you have to master the basics. You have to have one fluid motion. You want to make sure you have good balance. You want to make sure that you have good footwork. You want to make sure you have a high release. You want to make sure that you have good flick of the wrist. And you want to make sure that it's one motion. That is how you become a great shooter. Those are the 5 principles. You look across any basketball player who shoots the ball at a high level in the NBA or in college, I guarantee you will see all 5 of these factors in their jump shot. You can have whatever type of form you want to have, but you have to have those principles. And if you do, and if you work on them consistently, you will become a great shooter, or at the very least, a really good shooter. And I'll give you guys one more tip. I'll give you a bonus. The final and big bonus that a lot of people don't pay attention to when it comes to being a jump shot, and you really don't know it until you get on the court, is confidence. Confidence is one of the most important things. Actually, it is the most important thing in shooting the basketball and being a good basketball player and being a good athlete when it comes to doing anything in life. I don't care how hard you guys work. I don't care how much people hype you up. I don't care how much politics is behind your name. If you do not have the confidence to go out there and do the things that you think you can do, you will never do them. Confidence helps bad basketball players be good basketball players. A lot of times people's game rise off of the fact that they have confidence, even if it's false confidence. Some people will say, yeah man, I'm gonna come out here and get 30, and they've never got 30 in their life before. But because they're confident and cocky and they believe the delusion within their head, they become better basketball players. Some of the greatest basketball players of all time have kind of had some form of delusion on how good they are, but because of that delusion, it allowed for them to play out of their range and start going to higher levels. For the clips that you guys are watching right now, some of y'all might see it, some of you might not, but there were a bunch of people in this gym, and I'll be the first to tell you, I was out there airballing a lot of shots, and I still had to have the confidence to say, keep the camera rolling with people watching and continue to airball shots until I made shots. That is confidence. It's not me making 100 shots a day or 1,000 shots a day. It's just me saying, I know what I'm capable of, and I know I can do it regardless of what other people think and regardless of what other people say about me. And because of that, you're now seeing the final result, which is me making jump shots. And once I start making those jump shots, a lot of the same people who are watching came over and had nice things to say, and I appreciate that. But the only way I was able to get to that point was by me continuing to fail, me continuing to miss shots, and eventually I start making shots. You have to have that same mentality. It doesn't matter how many shots you miss. You have to go in with the same mentality of, I just made my 10 shots. If I ain't hot, I'm gonna get hot. That's the mentality you have to have at all times, and if you do not, you are not cut out to be a good basketball player, you are not cut out to be a good shooter, and you're honestly not cut out to do anything in life at a high level. If y'all like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date on everything that is Hoop Politics. If you are a basketball player or a former basketball player and you shoot the ball at a high level, comment below if there's anything out there that maybe I missed that you know is something that is very important for basketball players. We are a community and we are trying to help other up-and-coming basketball players and basketball players who are currently in their career but they just want to get better. Don't comment for me, comment for them. I want to help them out as much as possible, and you as the viewer should want to help those players out as well. We want everybody to succeed. Follow the Instagram and the Twitter at hoop_politics, and as always, God's always control. Peace.